And now, it's that time of the week once again. Welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast with your host, Tom Whittle, your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Hello and a very good evening, everybody, to episode number 86 of the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel. And I hope you are well on this wonderful Sunday evening. We are back for another episode of a fan favorite, and especially one of my favorites because I'm a huge fan of this show. It always brings everybody together, and something that I've now called Savage Sunday, because this is where the savagery comes out, of course. So let's get into it. My name is Tom Whittle, and joining me this evening, I do have the graphic. There we go. He is known as Livin It Large Aviation. It is, of course, Paul Convey. Paul, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on, Tom. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That's the second week in a row now that I've forgotten to put the background up as the intro came up. You can tell it's professional. Oh dear. How's your weekend been so far?
Busy. Been working this weekend, so it's been a very busy weekend. Very, very busy.
Yes, I've been making the most fit for another very busy week ahead of me. So it's always nice to kind of not do anything. Don't get the opportunity to, so it's nice. But yes, you are here to play Rate My Liveries. You've picked 10 very good ones. How do you feel in terms of savagery this evening?
I think I might get off a bit lightly with this one.
Yeah, I think you will as well. But now that I've just thought, now we've said that, maybe savagery might appear even for nothing. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how we get on. But before we go into the show, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. So we're on social media. You can find those in the description below. We'll have them posted throughout the evening as well through our mods in the chat. We also have a merch shop. So do check that out. That is in the description below as well to find some t-shirts. There'll be more designs going on very, very soon. Do you know what? Again, I said this last week, and I'm going to say this again now. I should really bring my list up. There we go. Petition. That's the one. We have a petition, or we support a petition to save the Cornwall Aviation Heritage Centre, which is oh so close to being at 30,000 signatures. To save the wonderful centre. So if you haven't signed it or you want to sign it, even if you've never been and you want to help out on this very noble cause, that too is in the description below as well. And of course, if you wish to be a guest on the show, just like Paul and other guests previously, whether it's playing this or having a general chit chat about aviation, get in touch with us on any of the social medias. Let's quickly say hello to the wonderful people in the chat. So we have people behind Think Planes. Hello to you. They're currently making a Detroit pan pizza. Always good. Lynn Keeble says hi to Jack and Tom. I think that's just because we were in the chat beforehand. So hello to you. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd, one of our moderators. Hello to you. And I will just literally go through some names as we do this. So Wayne Hart, Sean, good evening to you. MacChat TV Live, good evening to you. Michael Painter, hello to you. Good to see you. Plane Spotting Channel, hello to you. Steve Plains, probably sat in the laundry washing football kit right now. Hello to you. Jim Gemmell, and the usual suspects, Chester Mike. Just literally scrolling through. Faring Travels, Martin Waldridge, Amy Doyle, hello. Okie dokie. So For those that don't know how this works, we have asked Paul to give us 10 of his favorite liveries. We've put him in the hot seat. We're going to display all 10 of them, go through why he's picked them, and by the end of it, give a rating out of 10 and see what you guys think as well. And that's where the savagery will then come into play. So without further ado, let's get going. And I mentioned this to you beforehand. Jack Roll's getting in early with a 2 out of 10, and he's not even picked the liveries this time. Good on you, Jack. Oh dear, he knows I'll never ever let him forget it. But, yeah, without further ado, let's go into the show. So the first one, we know what's coming. The audience don't. But first one up for this evening is the Dubai Expo, or as I call it, the Smarties livery from Emirates on their Airbus A380. Tell us a little bit as to why you chose this one.
I think out of all the Expo liveries, this is probably the best livery. It's everything. It's nice and bright. It's bold. It's just different, and that's the reason why I love it. It's just so bright, and when you see it coming into land, you don't miss it. Put it that way. The nickname the Smarties, I think, just sticks.
Pretty much, it's just like a tube of Smarties. I can't remember where I saw it first, but then once you've heard about it, you can then sort of not unhear it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you sort of then know it as the Smarties livery. Of course, because it's on a 380 and Emirates, throw their money at their aircraft and stuff just purely because they can.
Yeah.
It's nice to see a very bright, colourful A380 in the skies.
It is because they're all basically just white. So I think that's what makes it stand out better.
Of course, they had I think it's in the middle of the fuselage, and they had like a orange, green, and blue one, which have now sort of been removed and it's been replaced by this one. So, I mean, it's quite nice. I think we did something like this, or we mentioned something like this on a previous show, and we were sort of looking at the lady at the front there with the sign that says "See you there," thinking that a little bit more could have probably been done there. Do you sort of agree with that, or do you sort of just like it as it is?
I think, I think they probably could have done a bit more with the "See you there" bit, but apart from the rest of it, maybe it could have done without, no disrespect, but without her being there and just having the whole, just as the whole blue and just the Expo livery, without her being on the front of the plane. But that's just personal opinion.
I think Steve Plains puts it best. I think you mentioned this before. He says, "I like everything about this apart from the white cargo door." So that's sort of what it is, very sort of reminiscent of, and probably something that you actually, what you actually sort of look at really. But I think overall it's quite a nice plane. Like I say, it's just nice to see a very colourful A380 in the skies, because apart from maybe Etihad and that, I don't really see many colourful A380s.
No, to be fair, it's nice to see them still using it as well. That's the thing; they didn't stop using it.
And they'll be probably using it for many years to come with the hundreds that they have.
yeah, that's true.
But wonderful. That is fine. Right. Okay. So first one out of the way. So that means it's time for you to have a quick think about sort of what you'd give it out of 10, even if you know already. And we'll go through the chat and see what they think. So, all right, the Plane Spotting channel says they're changing it to say Destination Dubai soon. Interesting if they do that. Lots of people giving ratings already, but we're going to come back to those. Simon Taylor Ackroyd, that's a great livery just because it's different and not common. Jack Rolls, this is just teasing me because I'm a Bournemouth spotter. I've wanted to see this for so long. To be honest, Bournemouth spotters would like to see just a 737 or a A320. That'd be quite nice. No disrespect, of course. Ian Hartley, hello to you. Another one of our moderators saying, saw it in real life at Manchester. Beauty, top marks for me. 380 out of 10. Yeah, get it. They're all going to come in. Lots of puns. Bring it on.
Definitely.
Lots of people giving it the ratings as well. So, first up then for you, out of 10, what do you?
It's an 8.5 out of 10 for me, and I know it's not. Everyone says 10, probably says 10 out of 10, but it's 8.5 for me. Just because that woman on the front, I think if they took her away from it, and just had it all blue, then I think that would probably be about a 10 out of 10.
Okay. So we're going strong with a good positive 8.5 out of 10. So the bar has been set. But let's have a look and see what the chat says. So Plane Spotting Mike Live gives it a 10 out of 10. Yeah, MatchNet TV Live. I mean, this will be the rating he gives everything in the show, so we can only show this the once. 10 out of 10 for everything. Let's have a look here. Think Planes, Smarties, 9 out of 10 when you see it up close, 6 out of 10 in pictures. That's quite an interesting analogy there. I always thought pictures do it justice, but obviously it's the other way around. So that's fair enough. Chester Mike, 10 out of 10, colourful on a rainy day, just makes you smile.
Agree with that.
Michael Payne's at 8.5 for the Smarties. Lots of people going 380 out of 380. Very, very good. Fully expecting a lot of that. Steve Plain, 7 out of 10 because of the door. Faring Travels on the flip side of that is bloody awful. This is where the savageness comes out of. I didn't realize it so soon. I'd like to know why he thinks that, actually. I'd like to know why they think that. Yeah, do let us know why you think it's awful. Let's have a look here. So there's plenty more. Yeah, lots of 380s out of 80s. Wayne Hartshorn, best A380. Best looking A380, 9 out of 10. And the model is stunning. It is. I've got it right here. It's right in front of me. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, the model is quite nice, actually, to be fair.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Okie dokie. So that's how it works. We're going to carry on with more Savage Sunday Rate My Liveries. The next one is an interesting one as well, and one that I don't think has been picked before. It is, of course, the updated Vietnam Airlines livery. Tell us why you picked that one.
Well, the first time I saw it was when they had the Boeing test flights at Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually managed to see it, even though it was messing everyone around for spotters coming in and out, and they kept changing the times and that. I managed to see it, and as soon as I saw it, I just absolutely fell in love with it, with the colours, because it's just different, and that bluey green, it just changes different colours slightly in the light as well.
Yeah, they recently bought a 787-10 test plane over, and it actually came down this way to Bristol in the southwest of England, but never touched down. It was just doing like a go around approaches sort of thing. So it was really interesting to see it. Never went down to see it, unfortunately, because like everything else, it always happens during the weekday where you're at work and nothing exciting happens at the weekends. So but yeah, so that was quite cool to see down here. And of course it was based up like Manchester, Stansted, Heathrow during that time as well, so a little bit of a highlight for people. But I do really like it. Considering the color of the Vietnam flag is red, like this choice of like a bluey green sort of color and the gold, I think works really, really well. And we've got a little bit of a saying on the channel where like the 787, as much of a nice aircraft it is, sometimes the liveries don't really fit it, but I think this one's probably an exception.
Yeah, I think because of the way they design it, I think it actually looks good on the 787.
They always go for that like sort of curved line, like United did it with theirs, didn't they? They put that curved line rather than the sort of a straight cheat line sort of thing. But I do like that blue, and especially in the sun. I made sure that I picked the right sort of pictures for these shows, because sometimes people go, "Oh, it looks horrible in that picture." It's like, well, there are other pictures.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I made sure to pick it with the sun, and the sun does sort of do it justice. And I think even if it wasn't in the sun, I think it still looks rather nice. Rob Brown Planes. Oh, I just missed that then. There we go. Rob Brown Plane Spotting. Hello to you, one of our regular viewers. Says, cracking livery. Saw at Vietnam 787 at Glasgow Prestwick for COP26. Does look better in real life. Is it a case of...
I don't think pictures actually do it justice. The colour, that greeny blue colour, I don't think pictures do it justice. It's when you see it in the flesh, when it changes with your own actual eye, with the colour change in the light and that, it absolutely pings basically in the sunlight. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I've seen that a handful of times, but never sort of caught it picture wise. So it's a one for the list of me to go and catch. But it is. It's a very nice colour. I wonder about the belly, whether the belly could be sort of a white, whether that would look a bit sort of sharp and cleaner, maybe. But I mean, it works with the color it is anyway, so you can't really sort of think about potentially changing any of the livery, really. But
to be honest with you, the belly works when it in the actual seeing it in the flesh. The color of the belly actually works with it. It does actually work all right. As I say, it just doesn't do it justice in the pictures.
Yeah, it's a lovely, sort of like a metallic, isn't it? It's like a metallic color, which helps it sort of shine along the way, which is always interesting. Right. So Vietnam Airlines, for you lot to deliberate over. Paul, if you do the same, just for 30 seconds, just while we go through and see what people think. So let's have a look here, because lots of people are putting in their opinions. It's always an interesting thing to try and go through. Farang Travels back on the Emirates one, because Emirates have been going on about Dubai Expo for about 20 years now. That's why he doesn't like it.
Right, fair enough.
Play. Yeah, fair play. Plane Spotting Channel. I saw the nose of it at Manchester when it got pulled into the test bay, but that's all I saw of it. That's fair enough. At least some is better than nothing. Wayne Hartshawn, stunning livery, one of his favourites, so it's a good choice there. Yeah. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd, with his rather interesting opinions as always, says it's not the best looking livery, but not the worst. So he's given it 7 out of 10. I mean, fair enough. That's why we have opinions, I suppose.
Well, everyone's entitled to their own opinion at the end of the day.
That's it. Yeah, we've done that one. Jack Rolls, proper Bonnie-looking livery and a smashing-looking aircraft and APU. I'm not going to mention why he's mentioned the APU, but it's a little running joke that we have that Jack said.
Right.
Yes, too much of a big fan of APUs. We'll put it that way. Steve Plains, simple yet classy. Much like how my Tinder bio reads. Very good, Steve. I wish I'd seen that bit before I read that out. Farang Travels is on the savagery this evening. He says the yellow tail spoils it. And I've just clicked the wrong thing there. Let me bring that back up. Where was it? I just missed. There we go. Yeah, the yellow tail spoils it. I don't think
it's not yellow though, is it? It's gold.
Yeah, it's like a gold leaf sort of thing. And
yeah,
I don't know. I think it works. I think it works well.
Well, it's the logo, isn't it, that they've got by the name further up the plane. So for me, it works.
Very interesting. That it's a tough crowd. I did say it was going to be a tough crowd.
Yeah.
Let's have a look and see who else we got here. Ian Hartley looks well. It suits delivery. It's just lacking a bit something, perhaps a bit of something to peak the blue a little bit more.
I was going to say break the blue, isn't it?
Break the blue. Oh yeah, break the blue. Oh yeah, he does say break the blue. Yeah. Liz Robinson, hello to you. Colorblind me not realizing it's got green in it. That's all right. Jim Gemmell could have put the tail logo on the engines. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it'd be too much. I think there'd be too much.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got that gold leaf pretty much everywhere. And it would, I think, take away the class, I think. Yeah, it's fine as it is. Other than that, let's go through the ratings. So, Paul, out of 10, the Vietnam Airlines livery.
Probably going to get savage for this one, but it's a 9 out of 10 for me. That
9 out of 10, we're going even higher. I think the bar is properly set this evening. 10. Well, sort of a mixed bag, which is quite interesting. So, Plane Spotting Mike with a 6 out of 10. We've already done Sam's on a 7 out of 10. 787 out of 787. Very good. It's got to be done in it. It's got to be done. Lynn Keeble, 6.5 out of 10. Wayne Hartshawn, because it's his favourite, gives it a 10. Stunning, very eye-catching. Farang Travels with a savage 4 out of 10.
Oof.
Yeah, MaxJet TV Live, don't even need to read yours out. Already know what you're going for. Michael Painter, 7.5, like Tom says. Nice with the sun on it, looks flat without and very ordinary. I didn't say it was flat. I said it looks nice either way. But yes. Rob Brown, Plane Spotting, a solid 7.87 out of 10. I'm falling for it this evening. I should have realised that. Steve Plains with an 8. Jim Gemmell 8 as well. Martin Waldridge and 9. So we've got one that sort of follows you. And Will P with an 8 as well. Hello to you. Well, we're only two liveries in, and tough crowd has already started. That's why I love doing these shows.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Bring it on. All right, I'm going for a little bit more of a retro look with this one, and I'm actually quite glad you picked this one because I think it's quite underrated, and I can't think if we've had this before because my memory's crap. Either way, it's the old Etihad livery, which is in this picture adorning a Boeing 777, not a 777 as most people would say, which means they get a punch in the face. 777-300. No, I think this is dead smart. And whilst I like the new one, I do maybe slightly prefer this one, but it's not about me. Paul, why'd you pick this one?
I agree. I think it's probably the better livery. You know, these retro liveries that these airlines are bringing out now, I think they're just epic with what they're doing. And this Etihad one, I just love it because it's not a white; it's like a cream color, and it just pops in the sunlight. When the sun hits it the right way, it just absolutely looks stunning. You know, and even on picture, the pictures do it justice as well. It's not one that doesn't look bad on picture for me, as far as I can tell.
No, absolutely. I think it was lucky. Obviously, seen it on the sort of the 340 variants, and then went to Kemble, and they had one of their 777-200 LRs that were sort of stripped of engines and stuff in this livery, and you can get like close up to it because it was by the fence. Yeah. And even when you're sort of standing close up to it, whether it's a picture or not, it was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's very smart. It's pretty much everything that you need from, you know, an Emirates airline sort of thing. Yeah. And yeah, the sort of the color as well. I mean, it's not white, so it's it's fine. And the billboard titles, it works. It works for me.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say about it, I'd like to see it on a Dreamliner just to see what it looked like.
That'd be interesting. I think there's probably concept pictures out there of what it would have looked like. I think did they not order it before they changed their livery or something? I can't quite remember.
I'm not too sure.
I mean, possibly I might be talking out my backside, but yeah. I mean, it's very, very smart. You've got the coat of arms on the tail as well. You know, I'm a sucker for a cheat line, so it's got a cheat line as well, which is always nice. And I think it's just very, very smart indeed.
Yeah, it is for me. As far as I'm concerned, it's probably one of the top lot of retros that I like.
Yeah, it's nice that some 777s are still in that livery, so it gives people a little bit of hope to see it, especially if they like it. So so it's a very good choice for me. When I saw it in the list, I was like, good in.
It's rude not to pick it, to be fair. Rude not to pick it.
Absolutely not. Some good choices anyway. But good stuff. Right, let's have a look and see what everyone thinks whilst you sort of have a think about the rating. Let's go here. I've gone too far. Right, Think Planes. There we go. Think Planes. Oh yes, saw this today. Looks far better than the new livery. Well, I must admit the new livery does look good on the 380, and maybe the Dreamliner as well. I don't know, but I don't hate it. That's what I'm saying. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But, Liz Robinson. Don't say retro. It makes us feel old. It is an old livery. That's the thing.
It is.
Jack Rolls. Oh yes, I saw this on an ex-Etihad A340-500 and nearly ended up crying after European Cargo wants to get rid of it already, because that only went in like the other week. Wow. So if they want to get rid of that already, that's
shocking.
That's quite bad, unless they were misinformed about 500 and not 600, seeing that they've got the 600s from Virgin and picked up the shorter version. But it's a shame if that's the case, because that's a complete waste otherwise.
Definitely.
Ian Hartley, I love that. It's my favourite livery from Etihad, so it's obviously a big fan favourite for a lot of people. Owen's there as well. I've just seen Owen's name pop up, so hello to you. Jim Gemmell. Definitely prefer this to the current livery, simple but effective. I think you've got a good choice here. You've got a good choice. Let's have a look here. Rob Brown Plane Spotting, classic retro type livery, but the Etihad F1 A340 still rules. I mean, you don't get much better than that livery. If you've not seen it, do Google it. It's quite something. It's fantastic. Really, really nice. Jack Rolls. I mean, the food talk normally happens at the end, but he's decided to pop in with, this would be the best pork pie if it was currency for. Okay, lay off the cider and try and speak English, Jack. That makes no sense. I mean, she's got pork pie in there. If pork pie was a currency, I have no idea. But yeah, never mind. And is there any more? Yeah, Michael Painter. We'll go for the last one before we get the ratings. I normally like the older liveries, but prefer the new Etihad livery. Therefore, a 7. Interesting. All right. So over to you, Paul. Out of 10. I mean, we've had some high scores already. So what would the Etihad livery be for you?
It's going to be a 9 out of 10 again.
9 as well. Bar is very high this evening. So 9 out of 10. All right, so let's have a look and see what everyone else has put. I think most people are agreeing, which is probably decent. Just going to go through. Yeah, here we go. Will P, 9 out of 10. Retros are in at the moment. They certainly are. My last trip to Heathrow, I think last month, I got to see the Austrian one for the first time on the 320, nice. And I was rather happy to see it. one I've been chasing for a while, so I was
not
quite happy
in that one.
Yeah, it was nice. I think they got 2 retros at the moment, but it was like the 90s livery, I think, of just like the Austrian flag with the it's quite nice on a modern plane. So I was quite happy to get that. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd. This is coming from a guy who doesn't like the 757. 4 out of 10 because I don't really like it that much. Well, you wouldn't like it very much. You give it a 4 out of 10 unless you're a Jack Rolls. Plane Spotting Mike Live says 10 out of 10. It's amazing. Love the Etihad livery. Lynn Keeble with a 7. Still quite high. Faring Travels has gone for an 8.
Oh.
So he's on the up this time. So
hey, found one he likes.
Third livery in. Good stuff. Martin Waldridge taking after that now. 2 out of 10. Mediocre.
Bit harsh.
It's harsh. Yes, it's a very tough crowd. Wayne Hartshorn, 4 out of 10. The Dole Cream reminds me of walls in a smoke-stained cafe.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah. What color would you like your planes? I'd like it in a smoke-stained cafe cream, please.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
Just get rid of that email there. True to form, as Rob Brown does. 7.77 out of 10. Got to be done. Yeah. Ian Hartley, 9 out of 10. Yeah, Jim Gemmell, 9 out of 10. Think Planes, 9 out of 10. Jack Rolls, 10 out of 10. Yeah, lots of 8s, lots of 10s. Yeah, so quite high. Yeah. Yeah, quite high indeed. So, yeah, good choices so far, apart from the odd bit of savagery, but it's all good. MacJet TV Live, don't need to read yours out. I already know we're going to give it. I already know we're going to give the next one. Next one's a little bit different in terms of liveries. It's not an airline livery to per se, but it is a manufacturer livery, and it's one that I'm a massive fan of as well. It is the Embraer E2. I think this is the right one. Yeah, that's all right. I did think so. The Prophet Hunter livery on the E190 E2 aircraft from Embraer. A very, very smart livery. I do like the shark on the front. It gives it that little bit extra, I think. But why did you pick this one?
I think that's the reason, the shark painted on the front side. I think it just looks epic. You know what I mean? You don't see liveries like that now. And the amount of work that's gone into that, I just appreciate, the time that's been spent painting that. From a manufacturer, you just don't normally get that.
Yeah, it's like I think it's the 195 E2 is all like black and gold. I think it is.
Yeah.
And they really put some effort into trying to market the aircraft, and I think that's pretty much what they've done here as well. Is it's just kind of letting them know that anything that you are trying to achieve, this plane will do it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean. You look in the background there, you look at the Airbus, it's just white with a bit of a blue in the tail. The standard manufacturer stuff.
Yeah, standard sort of Embraer livery as you would find, but painted with a nice sort of shark on the front there. I think they painted that specifically for the Farnborough Air Show, I think it was. And ever since then, I think it's taken a lot of people by surprise at the amount of detail that's in that shark as well. It's not just a basic shark livery sort of thing, or it's not just a shark sort of head. It's literally the amount of detail that's gone into it. I try and find a close-up picture, but I sort of can't be bothered. This is the best you're going to get. But it's very smart. I mean, are you sort of a fan of the 190 E2 or the E2 jets in general?
Yeah, I do. It's that engine noise that comes to them as well, isn't it? It's that, like, the sound. It's different. You don't get it now. It's similar to what's on the the A220, the sound that comes out of them engines. It's like the Wookiee sound, they call it, don't they? And it's just different. As I say, I like it because they've gone into a manufacturer's gone and spent the time and done something different.
It's for me, like the E2 jets, like the engines. I look at them as like mini 777s, because obviously the 777's got massive engines sort of thing. So the engines look far too big for it. But it's a stunning plane. And again, last trip I went to Heathrow, I saw, I think, the 195 E2 from KLM for the first time, and was completely staggered because when you look at it, it looks very thin. The plane just looks very like a stick figure.
It does. You sort of think of how they've got, like, it's 2 and 2. It looks like a 1 and 1 type of thing.
Yeah,
how thin it actually is.
Or just a 1 sort of thing.
Yeah. But I don't think I've not actually seen it in a bad livery. There's no bad liveries. That's the
thing. I was a bit concerned to start with the fact that the 195 E2 looked far too long, a bit like the 787 -10 and that. It looks far too long for what it needs to be, but actually when you see it in person, it's actually it's well proportioned, and it's a very nice plane. Like you say, there's not a bad livery on it at all. If you think about Helvetic, KLM, the Brazilian Airlines as well.
Azul, isn't it? Azul.
It looks fantastic in any livery that you can find. But the fact that I think the effort that Embraer have gone to kind of promote this new aircraft to airlines by putting the shark on the front, I think it's a massive sort of testament to them for really trying to put themselves out there as a major player.
Yeah, definitely stand out from the crowd type of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. Right, nice one. Let's have a look at the chat and see what people think. There was a few funny comments in there that I had to stop myself from laughing at. Let's have a look. Right. I'll put this one up there because he has corrected himself. It's supposed to say Jaws, right? Not Jews. But otherwise, a Jewish shark is a bit different. But Jaws, what shark? Love this aircraft so much, even though it says Jews. Ian Hartley says it looks like a rubber shark from a toy shop. I have no idea. Think planes with every E2 looks epic. It's such an aggressive looking plane head on. It really is.
Yeah.
It really, really is. Steve Planes, love the nose, just fails a bit going backwards from there. Okay.
I think there is another version of it though, isn't there? There is another version of that shark where I think it goes all the way down the plane, isn't there? There is another level.
If there is, I'm sure someone will send it to me so I can actually put it on the thing. But it'll be it'd be interesting actually. Yeah. Liz Robinson, more planes need sea creatures like an EasyJet Neo needs to look like Nemo. If you know, you know.
I know what she's on about there.
Yeah, I mean that'd be interesting. Whether they do it or not, no.
Yeah.
Interesting. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd, he's given his rating again, 4 out of 10. Again, this is the guy that doesn't like the 757. The shark at the front looks good, but the yellow ruins the livery. Take out the yellow, and I will give it a 9 out of 10. It's the manufacturer's livery, mate. You can't really take it out. Rob Brown Plane Spotting has that bit of Brazilian flamboyance, which is fair to say, I think. Ian Hartley, again, squeeze its belly and it squeaks like a dog toy. Oh, dear. Farang Travels, back on the savagery. Way too fussy. Should be having words here with Serena after the stream. 3 out of 10. It looks a bit jumbled. Should be having words after we've finished.
Savage.
Yeah, savage. But we're having words afterwards. So we'll do a bit more of the ratings afterwards. But some sort of mixed reviews on that one.
I had a feeling this one might cause a little bit of controversy because it's just with it, what it is.
Not too many, which is all right. People going with controversial sort of ratings and things like that, but that's fine. That's why we have opinions, like we say. That's why we do these shows as well. Right. So, Paul, over to you. Out of 10, does it stay high, or do we go a little bit lower for this one?
A little bit lower for this one, so it's about a 7.5 out of 10 for me. This one
still a solid 7.5. Nothing to be sniffed at all. Right, let's have a look then at what people have put rating-wise. Interesting stuff. Plane Spotting Mike Live gives it an 8 out of 10. If the whole livery was a shark, it'd be a 10 out of 10. I think a lot of people seem to want to see that, I think. I don't know. I'll have a look for it sort of towards the end of the show, see if we actually got it. Wayne Hartshawn, Savage, 3 out of 10. It must have escaped Disneyland or SeaWorld. Harsh.
Have they called it Bruce or something then?
Bruce, yeah. Fish are friends, not food. If you know, you know. 5 out of 10 from Chester Mike. Standard classic can be great. This is like Marmite, love it or hate it. Yeah. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, already done that one. Oh, okay, we can read this one out because he's gone a little bit different. Max Jet TV Live, 3 out of 24, or as I like to call it, the 24th of March. It's an interesting analogy of doing it. Farang Travels with the lowest score we've had so far of 1.
Wow. Savage.
1 out of 10. It literally makes me feel sick looking at it.
Wow.
Jack Rolls, Baby Shark. I'm not singing that. Get rid of that. Not singing it. Not doing it. Hear enough of that as it is. Will P, 8.5 out of 10. Which, yeah, okay, fair enough, is good. And then on the flip side to that, Ian Hartley, 4 out of 10.
I think it is a Marmite livery. I think you either do love it or hate it.
We're getting to that point now, aren't we? Yeah, we're giving that. Jim Gemmell, oh my God, Max never gave a 10. No, you're right, he didn't.
He didn't?
He actually didn't. It's like a first in a long, long time of doing this show that he's not given a 10 for everything.
There you go, I've succeeded in something.
That's it, yeah. So this will go in the end of the year show as one of those oh my God moments. But yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's pretty much all of it. Yeah, all good. Right, on to the next one, which is, I mean, I could talk about this all day if I wanted to, but I'm not going to because it's not about me. It is my all-time favourite. If anyone knows me, that I'm, nothing tops it. It is, of course, the British Airways Landor livery, and I thought rather than showing it on a 747, I'll go for a 777 instead because my God, does it look amazing on the 777. But I think it's pretty obvious why you picked it. But Paul, go for it. Why did you pick it?
I think for me, out of all the British Airways liveries, this is probably the one for me. The Landor one. It's the one I know from when I was a kid. It's how I was always seeing BA as the Landor livery. When you see it on Concorde, it was iconic on Concorde. And it's just, for me, it is the BA iconic livery.
This is British Airways at their best, I think. Yeah. For me, it's kind of, if you wanted to kind of stand out from the crowd, especially during a time where competition was very, very high in terms of trying to get around back in sort of the late 90s, like early 2000s. This was the livery that would make you think, actually, I feel quite safe having to go onto an airline that seems to be full of class, because this to me is just it screams class. It's everything that you imagine like British Airways that you want it to be. It's just and the thing is as well, and it's very difficult nowadays for a livery to look good on any type of aircraft, whether it's 747, 777, the older 320s that they had, 737s, and even going to like the regional jets and like the old Dash 8s and Dash 7s, and I'm just trying to go off top. Now the old like Fokker 28s and everything else like that they had through French divisions and everything else. It suited any aircraft that it wore.
I think for me, the iconic aircraft it was on the 747 and the TriStar.
Oh, TriStar, I mean, I've got TriStar DC-10s. And for those that don't know, the 767-200. And if you know. I think there was an agreement between British Airways and US Airways, I think it was at the time, and US Airways painted one of their 767-200s in the Landor livery, and it was the only one that ever wore it. I will actually find a picture of this because I think it's quite interesting.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Let's have a look. See if I can be quick about this. Probably won't. There are models. Just trying to see. Oh, yeah, here we go. It's actually a pretty good picture to show it off as well. Right, bear with me, everybody, just while I bring this one up. Right, so if you've never seen the picture of the 767-200 in the Landor livery, now you have.
Oh.
Yes, so it's like the partnership between US Airways and British Airways, and as an agreement, I think it was something going on with them, and they painted one of the 767-200s into the Landor livery, and it, again, like I said, you could put this on any aircraft and it suits it.
It does. Totally agree.
So it's one of those liveries that you will remember, like especially for me and everybody that grew up around sort of the mid 90s, early 2000s and stuff, where all you knew was Landor. It was interesting, and as the Plane Spotting channel says, it's a BA plane with a US registration.
Yep.
So quite a rarity. I don't know how long it lasted, though. I don't think it lasted very long. And I think it mainly flew into Gatwick. I can't think if there's any. I can't see if there's any information on that, but that's for another time. But suits any aircraft.
It does.
And it's fascinating. Yeah, absolutely fascinating. I mean, like I said, you literally talk about this all evening, but we won't.
Yeah.
We won't, because we've still got other liveries to come. But let you sort of have a quick think about the livery. I mean, I already know probably what you'll give it, but what I'd give it. But yes, so let's have a look at what people have said. Right, Liz Robinson says, gotta love that. 10 out of 10 for me. They need to do a retro in this. I'd like to see them bring it back, actually. Preferably on the 777, considering that the older 777s are probably going to be retired very soon. I think some of them are getting on to like 26 years old.
Yeah. Well, I think it looked good on a Dreamliner as well.
It could work. Again, like I said, you could put it on 350s. You could put it on 787.
350. Yeah, 350 is a good shout, actually.
Would be perfect. Yeah, 350
good shout.
Would be absolutely perfect. So 10 out of 10 for Liz Robinson. Definitely agree about bring that back. Wayne Hart-Sean. I mean, people just giving ratings at the time, so you may as well just go through them, because I think lots of people can give 10s out of this. 10 out of 10, classy BA, and it promotes quality. No question about it. David Bone, no question, 10 out of 10. Faring Travels joining the bandwagon, 10 out of 10.
Oh, got 10 out of 10.
Controversially, Will P, I prefer the flag tails, really. Now, I preferred the world tails to what there is now. this, right? This needs to go.
Yeah.
This needs to go. I get that it's kind of, it represents the flag, but if you know the Chelsea Rose world tail, that's what they should have gone with, and not this. Personally, for me, that's because it gives it a little bit more than just this. But yes, never happy. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd. You should have shown it on the 747, as it is so much better. One, because it looks better on the 747, and two, 747 is the best aircraft in the world and better than the Antonov 225. Go sit in the corner and somebody mute him. Thank you very much. Have some respect, MU. Jack Rolls. Someone call an ambulance. I'm lovesick from this one. Hey, a livery. Hey, a livery. I mean, that's just how excited he is. You can't spell. Rob Brown plane spotting looks better on the 747, but the L1011 TriStar is yummy. Again, like I said, we could just literally talk about this livery forever, because it's.
I say there's not an aircraft it doesn't suit.
No, not at all. Not at all.
However, I think even in today's age, there isn't an aircraft that wouldn't suit like a 380. I think it looked good on the 380.
Yeah, 380 would. I mean, like I say, you put it onto any aircraft nowadays, like even the 320 Neos or something,
even an Embraer.
Yeah, Embraer 190, something like that. It just screams fantastic. Like, it's just really, really cool. Faring Travels. Is this the livery that upset Margaret Thatcher when it was replaced? No. It was the World Tails that upset her to the point where she put a handkerchief over, I believe it was a Botswana. Of all countries she could have picked. A Botswana-tailed model that was sitting in I think it was on the unveiling. She put a handkerchief over it and said it took away the dignity of Britain or something like that by promoting other countries that the airline flew to. So
didn't they change it not long after she did that as well?
Well, it was a marketing thing, and then because it didn't really capture what people would have wanted. Like, I suppose for spotters, it was one of those things where you didn't know what you were getting. So if you knew a British Airways plane was coming in, you had a choice of all these different tails, about 30 odd tails. And if you had one that you hadn't taken a picture of, and it was that one, you'd be excited for it. Whereas now, all you see is this. And sometimes you're just letting planes go because it's like, I don't need to get that one. Don't want that one. It's the same one, 4 in a row. Come on now. It gets a bit too much. But the World Tails and stuff, like, there are some really good ones in there. And we have done a show on it, and it did last 3.5 hours. So that is in the playlist somewhere. So if you've got a spare 3.5 hours, do go and watch it. If not, don't worry. It's too long anyway. But yeah, lots of people. I mean, Ian Hartley, a strong 7 out of 10. I think that's quite low, actually.
Yeah.
Even if it's Will P, 5 out of 10. I think that's just purely because he likes the World Tails more.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, still a bit savage though.
Yeah. I mean, anything lower than a 10 is quite savage. But just out of interest, Paul, out of 10, what would you give it?
It's got to be a 10 out of 10, hasn't it?
10 out of 10 has to be. Anyone that doesn't say 10 out of 10, shame on you. Unless you've got a good reason.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just pinpoint anybody. But Jim Gemmell with a very good point as well. The current BA livery started out as the Concorde livery when they introduced it for the World Tails. And obviously they chose that to go with moving forward.
I didn't like that on the Concorde either, to be fair.
Concorde was one of those ones where you couldn't really obviously put too much paint on it. So I mean, it sort of works. I'm looking at the model I've got now, and it works. But I think the fact that it's very like scrunched together, you got a bit more of a space on this one. I don't know what you would have done though. I don't know what they could have done to change that though, because the tail of it is very, very small. I don't know. But it's this needs to go. And that's where I'm going to leave that one. So let's have a look here. Okay, that's it. All right, so moving away from that absolute classic, we are sticking with British Airways and going down another one of the retro routes. with the British European Airways retro livery, which currently adorns the Airbus A319. Now, a lot of us on the channel, when we've spoken about this before, have said that, again, it's a bit like the Landor livery where it suits this plane very, very well. So if this plane was around back when the airline was around, it would fit in really, really well. Why did you pick this?
I think it's just nice to see BA do a throwback plane like that. You know, I know they did it on some of the 747s with the BOAC liveries, but for me, out of all the throwback liveries they did, this worked on the 319. It just doesn't look out of place. To be fair, it doesn't really look like a retro livery. It looks like a standard livery as well.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's what a lot of us were saying was that if the airline was around nowadays and this was the livery they were picking, it really, really wouldn't look out of place.
No.
And like we were saying before, like the British Airways A319s and stuff were so common, and obviously they're getting less and less now, but they were so common that you just let them pass. But with this one, like this was one that I hadn't seen since it came out, but now I've got so much like footage and photos and stuff of it that you never get bored of seeing it, because it's something from a bygone era that is sort of around today. I don't know how much longer it's going to be around for, and I certainly hope they won't scrap it completely.
Well, I know they were going to get rid of it, weren't they? Originally, they weren't going to keep it, and now they've kept it.
Yeah. They were going to get rid of it, and then there was something like a campaign to stop it from being scrapped, and then they brought it back into service. So I'd like to see this one preserved, if I'm honest. When it does get retired. I know the 319s are getting on a bit. I think this one's something like 22 years old. So they are getting on a bit, but I'd like to see it preserved in a museum. Which museum, of course, I don't know. I don't know who would take it, apart from Duxford, if they even had any space there, because they one of the Royal Flight BAE 146s recently. So I mean, it's a shame that the Cornwall Aviation Heritage Centre shut their doors, because they told me that was supposed to be the original place that the Landor 747 was supposed to go. And they would have treated it like the Negus 747 that's at Kemble. So massive sort of shame on that, and makes me more angry about the council. But that's another story. I do like this one. I think it suits this plane really, really well. Whether it's picture, seeing it in real life, or model form, I think it's stunning.
To be fair, it doesn't look bad it always looks good in pictures. It looks good in real life. I don't think you can take a bad picture of it, to be honest with you.
No, not at all. I think the black sort of cheat line, and then it runs down the nose sort of thing, I think that helps it enormously as well. Not to say it's a bad livery to start off with. I think it's dead smart, and I think liveries of the past sort of thing just outshine liveries of nowadays, because of obviously the cost of actually having to paint an aircraft, unless you are rich enough to throw paint on a A380 like Emirates or something. But
it's white or white, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. But it's dead smart. I do like it, and it'll be a shame when it doesn't fly anymore.
It will be.
But
it'd be nice if they could transfer it to a 320 instead, or a 320 Neo, just to keep it going. If they had to.
Well, again, I mean, that's the same with sort of the other liveries, really, because of the 100-year birthday and stuff like that. And the 747 ones were only around for a little bit. So I'd like to have seen them carried over, if anything, over to sort of the planes nowadays, like say Landor 350 or a BOAC 787 or
someone suggests a BOAC A350 in the 1000.
Now, I think we showed a picture of this on a previous episode. I can't remember who we had, and it actually didn't suit it. It was quite I don't know if I've still got the picture though, but it didn't suit it, which was, unless it was just the way that the picture was done, but it didn't suit it at all. But like I say, it might just be the angle that the drawing was done or something like that. But Yeah, I don't know. Right, let's move on from that. Well, we're not moving on from that one, but let's get the ratings in. So have a quick think. We'll go through what people think about this one. Lots of people getting their ratings in. Liz Robinson, 4 out of 10 for me. Not a huge fan, although I do like getting a good picture.
Can't win with Liz.
No, that's fair enough. Can't please everybody when it comes to sort of the retro liveries. Jack Rolls says, "What a stunner scene is at Bournemouth. So glad that BA chose Bournemouth for storing this beautiful bird. It's about the only time that they've seen that many aircraft, I think."
Poor Bournemouth.
Yes. Steve Plains adding on to that, of course, another Bournemouth resident saying another that used Bournemouth as a car park, so it has more of a special place for me. Of course, like 747s were there as well, which is interesting. Rob Brown Plain Spotting looked better on a Trident or a VC10. I don't think the VC10s ever wore it. I think it was just the Tridents that wore that one. I think the VC10s were more BOAC. Farang Travels is proving very hard to please this evening. Looks 1960s. Don't like it at all. Very harsh.
It's a retro livery.
Yeah, very, very harsh.
Yeah.
Right. Jim Sefton, hello to you. The square logo on the angled tail bothers me. The rest is okay, though. He also then says that the Lufthansa retro is better.
It is nice, that one.
Yes. Lots of people giving their ratings. So out of 10, Paul, what do you give this one?
It's an 8 out of 10 for me.
8 out of 10. It's very high scores, which is always good to see, unlike Jack Rolls. Right, let's have a look, see what people have put. So we've got you wait for 1 and 2 come along at the same time, and there you go. MaxJet TV Live, he hasn't given a 10, he's given a 7.
Ooh.
7 out of 10. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd has given it a 10 though. David Bone has gone down the route I would take, which is the 11th of October, which is 11 out of 10. Will P gives it a 10 out of 10. I love this BEA livery on that plane. Looks great. Plane Spotting Channel with a 6. Moderator Serena Riley with a 7 out of 10. I think Planes BA need to put it on the Dreamliner. I think it would look really good on the Dreamliner. Chester Mike with an 8 out of 10. Another simplistic design livery. Lynn Keeble with an 8. Just going through the ratings here. Michael Painter at 10. Will P again with a 10. I think Planes 7. Jim Sefton 7. And lastly, Jim Gemmell with a 9 out of 10. Red Winglets let it down a bit, maybe because they weren't around in BEA's day. It's an interesting sort of thought, really. I mean, I know the tops, I think it's the top and bottom of the wings, aren't they? They're painted red as well. But it's an interesting choice to paint them. Whether they could have left it or not, I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a quick look. No, I think the red does it. I think it looks all right.
I personally prefer the red on the winglets. But
yeah,
I know it's not everyone's cup. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. You could have left them grey and them blended in, but
yeah, I think it looks all right. Actually, I think it looks all right with the red. But so everyone's sort of half enjoying that. We're going to go on to. I mean, we've got a little bit of a love for Etihad. This evening we've got 4 liveries to go. The next one is, of course, the Formula 1 livery, adoring the 787-9 Dreamliner. So, I mean, it's quite an interesting livery. Obviously, the sort of the grayscale version of their livery with a sort of advertising for the Formula 1. Why did you pick this one?
Well, it's my unicorn plane at the moment. I've been trying to, every time I've tried to capture it, I've not been at Manchester, I've been somewhere else.
We've all got one of those.
Yeah. B, I love F1. So when they brought this plane out, I just fell in love with it instantly. And I think the colours are amazing on it. It's slightly retro-y, but it's not retro-y at the same time. If you get what I mean, in the style of like the F1 on the side of the plane and everything, it comes across slightly retro-y, but it isn't. But I think the colours just work.
Yeah, it's an interesting take because obviously they haven't really changed too much about the livery. Same with the green, the Dreamliner that they have as well. They just basically changed the color and not really changed anything else. So it sort of works on that front. But I mean, you could almost resemble it as like a checker flag.
Oh yeah, of course, you could.
Which is probably the vibe they were kind of going for. Which is absolutely fine. Not really a whole much more you can say about this actually in terms of it's just it represents Formula One and it's sort of smart looking.
Yeah,
which is fair enough. We'll go into the chat if you want to have a quick think about the the rating rather. Let's have a look and see what people have put. MaxJet TV Live. What a absolutely stunning livery. So bloody colourful. I don't know which one you're looking at. Colourful it is not, but it's it does the job. Will P says nice modern looking 8 out of 10. Literally just going to go through and see what they say here. Let's go through. So we've got MaxJet. I mean, he likes it that much. He's gone back to the 10s. So 10 out of 10 for him. Josh Tremmy keeping up with tradition, 7.87 out of 10. Plain spotting Mike Live. It's smart for me, so I give it 100 out of 100. I mean, there is literally no limit. You can give it as much as you like. 1,000 out of 1,000 would be ideal as well. Wayne Hartshorn giving it 5 out of 10. Does what it says on the tin. It's like Ron Seal. Jack Rolls, Ferrari's back. What a stunning livery, and on a Dreamliner, it's beautiful. I think we know who Jack follows. And it's not Red Bull. Rob Brown Plane Spotting, not bad, but should have stuck to the A340 F1 livery. I don't know how that would look on a Dreamliner. I don't think it would look good enough.
No, I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's one of those things where a Dreamliner would, it doesn't look great in all liveries, but just enough. But yeah, I don't think it would have worked at all. Chester Mike, 2 out of 10. Looks like that 80s wallpaper, another Marmite livery. Farring Travels, of course, wouldn't say anything positive about it. He says nasty. Literally just nasty. Just going to keep going through. Same with Taylor Ackroyd. Not a good-looking livery, but because it was promoting something that a lot of people love, it's rare and had effort put into it, painting it. So gives it a 5 out of 10. So smack bang down the middle. Serena Riley gives it 8 out of 10. Farring Travels gives it 2. Len Keeble gives it 5. Michael Painter gives it 7.5. Behave yourself, Jim. I can see what you're saying. Jim Sefton, like the idea of the checker flag, they should have actually done that rather than the standard tail.
Yeah, I probably agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have made any difference really because that tail just looks like a checker flag. But then if you've actually put a flag there, I can see where you're coming from. Liz Robinson, 6 out of 10. I'm being generous. I mean, if 6 out of 10 is being generous, that's incredibly generous. Jack Rolls gives it a 1090 out of 2000. I think he's taking the mick a little bit now.
A little bit.
Or in his role, that's 2 out of 10. Think Planes says when you compare it to the A340 livery, it can't be more than a 5 out of 10. I think that is safe to say. And Plane Spotting Channel one last time with like they ran out of paint halfway through, so did it black and white. Fair enough.
Savage, that one.
Savage. Yeah, I didn't expect that one. Paul, out of 10, what'd you give that one?
It isn't as high as all the others, I'll be honest. It's a nice livery. It is because I like F1 more than anything else. So for me, it's only like a 7 out of 10 anyway.
7 out of 10, still quite high. Yeah, which is good. Still no Jack Rolls territory, but it's still still good enough. A good 7 out of 10. Fair play. Right, 3 to go, and 2 are special liveries. 1 is a standard livery. This is an interesting one. I didn't expect this one when I saw the list. But you can explain why. It is the Brussels Airlines Tintin livery.
What's not to love about it? It's Tintin, and do you know what? Brussels have gone into the effort. With I think there's 5 planes. Well, they just got rid of one of them, didn't they? The Red Devils.
The Red Devils. Yeah,
has gone. So for me, that an airline's put that effort into 5 aircrafts with different liveries. It was tough because it was between this and another one I had to pick, and this one just outshone it for me. I think because of the detail in it, and it's Tintin, isn't it? Who doesn't love Tintin?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. I mean, Brussels are known for their special liveries. I've been after the Tomorrowland livery for a long, long time, and the last 2 trips.
Join me on that one.
Yeah, last 2 trips to Heathrow, I've managed to catch it twice, so I'm quite happy. But yeah, I was quite gutted when they got rid of the Red Devils one. I think there is a potential rumor going around that they purchased another 320, a younger one, which I think they've got in an all-white livery at the moment, which is rumored to be going into an updated version of the Red Devils livery.
Well, that'd be good. See
so
it was tough between this and the Smurfs one for me, to be honest with you.
It's hard to pick though. I think if you put all 5 next to each other, because they've done a really good job in painting all 5. Yeah. Like the Tomorrowland one is superb. This one is superb. The Belgian Icons is superb. Red Devils is superb, and the Smurfs one is fantastic. The Smurfs one's eluded me because it came in early one day when I was walking to Myrtle Avenue, and I saw it go over, and I also heard my heart break at the same time. I was like, "No, you haven't come in yet."
I know that feeling.
Yes, yeah, horrific, but. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice dark livery. Also, like I say, promotes Tintin as well for any Tintin fans out there. So, yeah, I mean, what more could you ask for? I mean, it does. I mean, again, Ronseal, it does exactly what it says on the tin. I think people are going to have their preferences as well, which I can see in the chat already. People have got their preferences as to which Brussels livery is their favourite. But yeah, it is really nice. It's a nice livery, and it's one of those ones that you kind of want to catch as well. For me, I don't know if you do this or if anyone else does this, but if you go plane spot into an airport where Brussels go into, it's the first airline you look at on flight radar to see what's coming in.
Yeah, definitely. Not for me. No, because I keep looking for the Tomorrowland one, and because I keep missing it, or last time I got there, it come in and taxi past me as I was getting out the car, and I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's always the first one I go to, and no doubt I'll do it again on Friday. I think is when I'm going there again. So no one I always go for it. Like Brussels first, everything else comes later. I have my list of what I'm looking for, which is Brussels, and then Emirates. See what 380s come in. If it's not what I'm after, then it's just like okay.
I know what you mean exactly. I agree.
All right, so keep that on screen just for the minute while we go through the chat, see what people think. Think Planes, again, I'll just do ratings as well. Think Planes, it's not the Tomorrowland livery 6.5 out of 10. I think 6.5 is probably the lowest you could actually give it without it being harsh, I think. Jim Sefton says, nice effort, but a bit messy. Would love to have a Kalula livery on the list. It's an interesting one. I think it's a South African airline that's now no longer around. Don't think they're flying in now. But they did have one livery where they had like it sort of pointed to everything on the plane and told you what it does.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Quite cool that.
Yeah.
Will P says, I love this one, and I keep on missing it to get a photo. It's not just us. Great. This one, 10 out of 10. Wayne Hartshorn, special livery, 6 out of 10. Not the best by far, but far from the worst. I think the Smurfs is a much better one. Jack Rolls, even though the aircraft is made out of tin, I would definitely give it 20 out of 10. Very good, stunning, and a childhood memory. Work on your puns is all I can have. Rob Brown, plane spotting. This is cool. Herge and Tintin is well trod path when I was a kid. Remember drunk Captain Haddock. I never watched it, so I these go straight over my head. And interestingly, from Martin Waldridge, nothing's bettered the Vietnam one yet.
No.
And I just want to point out, Michael Painter calls me sad. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I also know I'm sad. So yeah, thank you very much.
I think we all have our own little quirks, don't we, as plane spotters?
Do. Yes, we are a funny bunch, us plane spotters. But yeah, right, out of 10, did we do yours? I don't think we did we?
No, it's the same as the F1. It's 7 out of 10. It's not, I say, it's not a high one, but it's still 7 for me.
Yeah, 7's fair enough. Yeah, 7's quite good for that one, I think. Just a quick one from Planespotting Channel. I always think the Brussels special liveries make the 320s look like 319s. Don't know why. It may just be me. I think it's just you. And David Bone with a 10 out of 10, which makes you sound Australian when you say it. I've just worked out as I said that. 10 out of 10. Very good. Very good. Right. 2 to go. One which I think we've had on recently, but we'll get it back on again on a different aircraft. I think we did actually. We had it with Sam, I think, when she was on. So we're going to bring it back up shortly. Can't think if the last one was on it. Anyway, so next one, the second to last one is another bit of a Marmite one, I think, depending on your taste. But I mean, if you're not a fan of Euro White and you like your aircraft to be painted in wacky colours and look very different and stand out from the crowd, this will be your favorite because it's the ITA livery from Italy, of course, Alitalia's successor. I am a huge fan of this, and we know that a lot of people call it Colgate. So it's only fitting that we have it. So, Paul, why did you fit this one?
I think it's the blue. The blue is just so vibrant on it. The only other blue aircraft we've really ever seen now is obviously the Expo A380, and the fact that ITA went with a whole fleet like this, I think, is just brilliant. And pictures just don't do it justice of how much it actually shines and pops in the sun. Yes,
another one that's kind of eluded me every time I've caught ITA. It's always been the older Alitalia liveries that haven't been painted yet, but yeah, it's a metallic color. I think pictures, again, like you say, they help it, but they don't do it justice when you actually get to see it. No. I know Steve Plains is a big fan of this one. He's been sending me multiple pictures the same picture, but multiple times of a A319 that he picked, which sort of pops in the sun. And I think, again, it's the angle. It's the angle of the aircraft that sort of makes it different. So you could have, sort of front on and it looks darker, side on it's lighter, sort of, going away from you, darker sort of things. You get like every angle of it.
That's what I mean. Different shades and different colors and different lights.
Yeah, and it just looks fantastic. And a lot of people are saying that the 350 looks better in it. I think it does, but I thought I'd go for something a little bit different than the 350 this time, just to kind of show it off a little bit more. But yeah, I think for me this is such a lovely.
Well, that's the first pictures I seen it on was a 350, and as soon as I seen it on the 350, I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I was a little bit unsure to begin with because I saw it on the 320 when it came out, and someone sent it to me and was like, "They finally painted one. They finally painted one." And I looked at it, I thought, a bit blue, isn't it? But the more you kind of look at it and the more detail you look into it and realize that it shines, it's actually really nice.
Yes.
It's actually really, really nice.
It is.
So yeah, it's definitely up there as one of the best. Let's go through and see what people think. Lynn Keeble says it's better in real life, so 10 out of 10. Jim Sefton, sort of echoing what we said. The pitch doesn't do it justice. Need to capture the sparkle. Yeah. Liz Robinson says love it, but hate it now for them pushing back the 350 coming into Manchester tomorrow. which would be quite cool to see, actually, when it eventually does come in. Now, interestingly, Plane Spotting Mike Live says, love the livery, but it would be nice if it had white underneath the plane. I don't think it would, if I'm honest.
No.
I think it's absolutely fine as it is. I know people were saying, "Oh, why don't you paint the engine blue as well?" And I'm like, "Don't touch it. Like, leave it as it is."
That'd be too much blue. I think it just wouldn't look right. Yeah,
far too much blue. Jack Rolls, what a livery! It's stunning. Get me a Restaurante pizza. 10 out of 10. Get it yourself. Serena Riley says, honestly, that shade of blue looks fantastic, especially as it covers the entirety of the aircraft. 9 out of 10. Think Planes obviously disappointed again that it's not coming in. 1 out of 10, as it's 350. It's not coming into Manchester tomorrow when we are streaming. Other than that, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
All bitter.
Yeah, us people spotted at Manchester are very bitter about that.
Yes, I think 1 out of 10 from anybody from Manchester. ITA seems to work in some light and not others. Also depends on the angle you see it from, as the tail designs don't always show up. Again, with the metallic look to it from Jim Gemmell. Yeah, and then ratings wise, lots of 9s. So definitely getting a lot of love, lots of 8s. MaxJet TV Live, hold the phone, everybody. 6 out of 10.
What?
Not even a 10. Well, he hasn't even given it a 10. I thought he would have done.
Shocked at that.
Yeah. Screen grab that and put that on social media.
Yeah.
Samuel Taylor Ackroyd, of course, again, somebody who doesn't like the 757, gives it a 1 out of 10.
How could you not like the 757?
But let's not get into it. Let's not get into it. Right. So for you, Paul, out of 10?
It's a 9 out of 10 for me, that one.
Has to be. Yeah. Has to be. Very high score, definitely. Wonderful. And we go on to Faring Travels. My numbers don't go low enough to give it a score.
Wow. He's savage tonight, isn't he?
Faring Travels, honestly. Oh, dear. Right.
I think the only one he's liked is that Etihad Retro, isn't it?
I thought it was the first one, wasn't it? And then the rest have just all been, been negative. Oh, dear. Right, last one for this evening. Hopefully he'll like this one. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. Sorry, Sam. It's on a 757. It is the Icelandair Heckler Aurora Northern Lights, whatever you want to call it, livery from Icelandair. Again, it's a bit like Landor. No words needed as to why you like it, but give us some words anyway.
But again, it's like the Icelandair Landor, isn't it? It's there's no words that say how excellent it looks. It's just stunning, absolutely stunning, and it's probably the best livery out there.
Yet again, another one that's eluded me. Every time I go Heathrow and they send a 757, it tends to be the 757-300. And of course, considering they've only got 2 in the fleet, you think at one point they send the Independence one, but no, not because I'm there. They normally send the standard livery, and it's always nice to get 757, but I want this one.
I know. Well, we've been looking up. We've had it at Manchester a few times.
Yeah, you lot of Manchester get some good stuff. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm convinced that Heathrow are watching me, and they go, "Oh, right, you want easterly departures, do you? Stick them on the west." I don't know. Right, just going to take Paul off the screen shortly. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's a really nice livery. I don't know how anybody could not like this one. So let's see what you think, just while Paul has be right back for a short time. Right, Jack Rolls says, oh, yes, this is the livery I want to catch. She is just the best. And Sam, I'm going to get you a 757 and A340 for Christmas. Wonderful. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Serena Riley. I love this. 11 out of 10, just beautiful. I don't collect models, but I would definitely have this on display. It's a good thing I have one. You might just get it for your birthday. Nothing like second-hand models. Will P says, beautiful 757, 100 out of 10. Hey, Farang Travels, perfection. He likes it. He absolutely likes it. Paul has now rejoined us. Farhang Travels is a big fan of this one, so we've actually got him to like something.
Shock horror.
I know. MaxJet TV Live, Tom, should I buy you the 757 for Christmas? I mean, if you've got like 30 million quid, yeah, go for it. Don't think my garden's big enough though.
Wasn't there a rumor that wasn't there a rumor they're doing away with the Icelandair 757s eventually?
Yeah, that's correct, I believe. They're getting rid of them at some point in the next couple of years, I think it is, which is why they're not being repainted. So it's kind of a get it while you can sort of thing.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them on the Maxes instead.
Which is a real shame. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it would suit a Max. I mean, I play Flight Simulator and I've got it on the 320 Neo and it just doesn't look right.
No.
So trying to see it on a Max and stuff, I don't think it would look any good on a Max. And I'm not really the biggest fan of the Max. I prefer the Neos. But yeah, again, that's another debate for another day. Liz Robinson, I didn't get a great aurora when I was in Iceland, so I'm still to see the real beauty of that country. Yeah, I think again, it's eluded me, it's eluded a lot of people, and one of the ones that I look out on Flight Radar when I go on a spotting trip. Who else we got here? Martin Waldridge says a global hypercolor t-shirt paint job. Michael Painter with a 10, one of the best around. MaxJet TV Live, yes, I do have 30,000 quid. Well, it's not quite 30 million though. Wayne Hartshawn, the fact I have it as my profile picture and I've recently ordered a 1/200 scale model, I'll give it an unlimited high score. So a good one to finish off on that one. Yeah. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, Liz Robinson. She's seen it many times, but she's seen the livery loads, got an acrylic print of it, but want to see the real thing. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. The actual. Yeah, I got you. It's. Yeah, I'm tired. That's what I'm putting it down to. Jack Rolls, 10 out of 10, stunning. Gonna have to see this. And Sam, if you try and sell them, I'll personally come to Scotland and block the door. Oh, okay, so Sam's awesome. Yeah, they're talking about Christmas presents and stuff. It's never nice to sell someone's Christmas present.
No.
It's a sign of rudeness.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think that is pretty much. Where is it? Here we go. MaxJet TV Live. I've got a model of the Northern Lights livery. Yes, you do, and I've seen the video. That's all I'm saying. Right. So, lastly, then, whilst we sort of people have put their ratings in there. Wayne Hartshawn with easily comment of the night. Iceland Maxes are getting boring now. Please can you tell Icelandair 757s only to the UK, please. I mean, I'll even take a 767, but yeah, Maxes are just, I don't like it. I don't like the Max at all.
I'm not a fan of the new livery, to be honest with you, and especially the Ryanair knockoff one.
Don't even get me started. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's like the same as having that on a 757 is just criminal. Yeah,
it is.
Absolutely criminal. Jim Gemmell, the mind boggles. Yeah, he knows what video I'm talking about as well. Plane Spotting Ringway joining us late on. Evening, everybody. Evening to you. And we're talking about food, apparently, because Jack Rolls has put KFC all day long. Let's not go into food now. Let's not. So I don't think we did your rating, Paul. So out of 10?
It's got to be a 10, hasn't it?
All day long. Some very good.
There's no reason it shouldn't be a 10 out of 10.
No, anyone that thinks differently, I think, is probably Jack Rolls. So I'm just ripping them off now. Plane Spotting Channel's heading off now. See you all. He says, see you all later. Great stream. Thank you very much for coming on and joining us this evening. And with that is all the liveries done for Savage Sunday. I
think I got off quite lightly there a little bit, to be fair.
You did, yeah. Well, there's a couple comments in there from Farhang Travels, but so you can't please everybody.
No.
Liz Robinson, 10 out of 10. Simon agrees, but he's making pizza. Good man. But no, he's done it. Rob Brown, plain spotting. Egg or pineapple with a gammon steak? All right, let's get the topic out there, seeing as it seems to be the burning question. We'll not answer this one first, but we'll do pineapple on the pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
No! Get off. Tell me you're joking.
No, sorry. I'm a fan of ham and pineapple pizzas.
Well, you know how I said, or you said that you got off quite lightly?
Yeah. I'm not going to do.
Wait for the comments. But it appears you're not alone, as Liz Robinson likes pineapple on the gammon steak. I personally prefer egg.
Gammon steak egg.
Farring Travels says yes for pineapple on pizza. You lot are weird, honestly. Max Jet TV, like he's been putting this in the chat, so I'll read it. Tom, you don't you wear glasses anymore, mate? You wore them before. I can't find them. I told you many weeks ago. I can't find them, so I can't be bothered to look for them. Jack Foles, where is that ban button? Yes, anybody that likes pineapple on pizza, ban them. Ban them all. Yeah, lots of people going with pineapple on gammon. You lot, honestly, weird, absolutely weird.
To be fair, you go to most places for a gammon steak, it does come with a piece of pineapple and an egg. Comes with both, to be fair.
Comes with both, yeah. And I just normally, give the waitress or waiter a scowl and tell them to take the pineapple away. It's only good in sweet and sour sauce. That's it.
It's your free dessert.
Yeah, or just or a bit of fruit. Not I don't want it with meat or a pizza. It's just weird. But that is my opinion. And anybody that says pineapple on pizza is wonderful, obviously I respect your opinion. It's very hard for me to say. Anyway, we're waffling on at the moment. So we are going to begin to wrap the show up. That is all of the liveries, apart from the pineapple situation. I think you got off a little lightly there, which is always good. I think you had some really good choices there. Among the favourites for a lot of people were obviously the Landor livery and the Vietnam livery. So some good choices. So if anybody wants to get involved and be in Paul's position of picking 10 liveries to have them rated, get in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. And we'll get you on the show for the next round of Rate My Liveries. But for now, we're going to begin to wrap the show up. So this is part of the show where we do some shout-outs. This is where we shout out friends, family, loved ones, etc. And anybody who puts them into the chat, obviously we'll show them on the stream as we do ours. So, Paul, as I said, list can be as long as you like. If you want to do some shout-outs, go ahead.
Yeah, just give a shout out to a few friends and that. So Liz and Sam from Think Planes, massive shout out to them. Love what they're doing at the moment. Plane Spotting Mike, another one. Nice. See him regularly down at Liverpool Airport. Same with Alex from the Plane Spotting channel. See them regularly at Liverpool Airport. I know it's not a busy airport, but it's nice to see fellow spotters there. And same with Will P as well. Great to see you all. Good
stuff. Very quick shout outs to yourself for joining us this evening for another wonderful edition of the show Rate My Liveries. I always enjoy doing it because it just kicks up anything it likes. It's fantastic. I'm so glad I came up with it, and just it's fantastic. So all good. Shout out to yourself. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to anybody new that's watching. I've seen a lot of new names in there, like Liz Robinson, obviously Think Planes, Jim Sefton, etc., etc. If you aren't subscribed already, please do subscribe. We are currently 56 subscribers away from my end of year target, which was 2,000 subscribers, which I didn't think would get there. But we're sort of slowly approaching it, and we've got a while to go. So if you can help us out with a subscribe, that'd be wonderful. And to the moderation team for keeping the chat in check. Some of you obviously need your heads banging together at the same time for not liking the 757 and for giving liveries 2 out of 10, Jack Rolls. hopefully everybody enjoyed this evening's show. We will be back next, I believe it's Monday, when back next, because obviously I'm away in London to go and document the arrival of the second 330 Neo for Virgin. So I should be capturing that for sure. But about 8 o'clock, I want to say, keep an eye on socials for confirmation of that, and we'll let you know who we have on as well. I've realised that the comment is still on there. There we go. Not very good at this. Been doing it for so long. Right. So all that's left for us to say is a big thank you to everyone that's watching, everyone that's still watching, everyone that's supporting the channel right now, everyone watching not just my content, but if you haven't subscribed to Paul's channel, Paul, if you'd like to give just a little quick mention of your channel so we can also push you to 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah. So my channel is Livin It Large Aviation. Basically, go and check out my vlogs. I get to see some nice sights. I've had some ups and downs and some funny moments. Just go and give it a look.
Absolutely. And he, of course, has an end of year goal as well of 2,000. Yeah. So why don't you get us both there at the same time?
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be nice.
It would be. Nice Christmas presents.
It would be. Yeah, it's a good way to close out the year for sure. But yeah, all that's left to say is thank you, Paul, for joining us.
Thank you,
we are going to say our goodbyes. So, Paul, if you'd like to say goodbye to those that are still watching.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. It's been enjoyable tonight. Thank you, Tom, for having me on. I've really enjoyed it. Absolutely enjoyed it. Go and get to that 2K, guys. I hope we can get there.
Thank you very much. And no doubt we'll have you back on at some point in the future.
That'd be nice, mate.
No worries. I'm just going to take your screen very quickly. Right, all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for everyone for tuning in, for contributing with comments, etc. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Rate My Liveries. We'll let you know where the next one is. But for now, have a fantastic work week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which is not a lot. And we'll see you next Monday at probably about 8 p.m. for episode 87. Take care, everybody. See you next week. Bye.